All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into Mohammed Mateen's complete guide on literally the single most eye-opening financial habit you can build, tracking your spending. Look, if you've ever felt like, hey, I make a decent income, but where on earth does it all go by the end of the month? Believe me, you are absolutely not alone. The author of our source material went through the exact same thing, eventually realizing he was somehow spending $300 more per month than he thought. So let's jump right into this and look at exactly how to fix that.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover the spending illusion, the 5-step system, best tools and apps, common tracking mistakes, and finally, using your spending data. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. The spending illusion. Seriously, where does all the money go? Let me ask you a question. Do you know exactly where your money goes every single month? I mean, sure, most of us have a rough idea of the big stuff, right? The rent, the mortgage, the car payment, but it's those smaller, daily details that completely drain our accounts. We know we bought groceries, but why does the bank account feel totally empty with a whole week still left in the month? Well, here's a massive blind spot for you. Studies show that people consistently underestimate their spending by 20 to 40%. Actually, wait, think about that for a second. We walk around feeling like we've got a completely firm grip on our outflows, when in reality, a massive chunk of our money is just slipping right through our fingers totally unnoticed. Let's actually put that illusion into perspective. Say you think you're only spending $2,000 a month. Pretty reasonable, right? But if we apply that 20% error rate, the reality is a budget-busting $2,400. That hidden $400, that is literally the exact difference between building up your savings and living paycheck to paycheck. Moving on to part 2. The 5-step system. This is our blueprint for success. To beat this spending illusion, we need a really solid game plan. Here's the high-level overview. It's actually remarkably simple, but, execution is everything. We're going to choose a tracking method, set up our categories, record transactions consistently, and then do 2 different types of reviews. Let's break these down one by one. For step 1, choosing your weapon. The golden rule here is to just pick a method you'll actually stick with. You basically got a choice between a hands-off, high-tech approach or a highly intentional, low-tech method. If you're a tech person and you want everything auto-categorized right from your bank, budgeting apps are totally your best friend. But if you're someone who really needs manual control, go low-tech. Grab a spreadsheet or even carry a physical pen and paper notebook. You can even go old school with the envelope method, where you literally stuff cash into envelopes and, well, stop spending when they're empty. Okay, moving to step 2. You need to slice up your budget into broad categories. Think housing, food, transportation, health, and savings. Starting with these broad strokes makes it super easy to spot your spending patterns right off the bat. Later on, once you've really nailed down the habit, sure, you can get way more specific. But for now, keep it broad and manageable. Now, I've got to give you a quick warning on this step. Do whatever you can to avoid the miscellaneous category. The author actually describes this as a black hole where good data goes to die. And honestly, they hit the nail right on the head. If you start dumping every random receipt into a miscellaneous bucket just to save a few seconds, it becomes completely impossible to figure out your actual patterns later. So just take the extra few seconds to categorize things properly. It is so worth it. Step 3 is recording every transaction. And look, I'll be honest, this is where most people drop the ball. They track enthusiastically for like 3 days and then completely forget. To stop this from happening, use a few consistency hacks. Set a daily reminder on your phone. Keep your tracker super accessible. Try to record purchases immediately while they're fresh in your mind. And definitely make it a habit to check your bank statement weekly to catch anything that might have slipped through the cracks. Basically, make it as automatic as brushing your teeth. Which brings us to step 4. And the author has this fantastic quote here. Tracking without reviewing is like driving with your eyes closed. I mean, you can't argue with that, right? All this data you're collecting is completely useless if you never look at it. You absolutely have to look at the numbers if you want this habit to actually change your financial life. So, how do we keep our eyes on the road? Well, steps 4 and 5 involve 2 distinct types of reviews. First up, a quick weekly check-in. We're talking 10 to 15 minutes every Sunday. Just add up your categories and adjust your spending for the coming week. It keeps you accountable without feeling like a massive chore. Then, step 5 is the monthly review. At the end of the month, you zoom out. This is where the magic happens. You find the big patterns, set your goals for next month, and, oh yeah, spot those sneaky recurring subscriptions you really need to cancel. Okay, part 3, best tools and apps. If you decided to go the high-tech route back in step 1, you're probably wondering what you should actually download. the source material highlights a few heavy hitters. Mint is a huge crowd favorite because it's automatic and free. Y&ADB, or You Need a Budget, offers this really powerful zero-based budgeting system where literally every single dollar gets a job. Every dollar is super clean and simple if you're just starting out. Personal Capital is great if you want to track your spending alongside your overall net worth, and Pocket Guard is awesome because it simply shows your available cash. Actually, scratch trying to find the perfect one. Just pick whichever one feels most intuitive to your style.
Moving right along to Part 4, Common Tracking Mistakes. Even with the slickest app on your phone, you're gonna hit some roadblocks. Let's troubleshoot.
So definitely watch out for these common pitfalls. Tracking for just a few days? Not going to cut it. You need at least 30 full days of data to see any real meaningful patterns. Forgetting cash purchases is another big one, so hold on to those receipts. And honestly, the biggest trap of all is giving up after one bad week. Look, everybody overspends sometimes. It's just human nature. If you have a bad week, please don't throw in the towel. Just hit reset and keep going.
And finally, Part 5, using your spending data. What do you actually do once you have a full 30 days of accurate numbers? Well, you put it to work. This is the payoff. You can finally create a realistic budget because, hey, it's actually based on reality now, not just optimistic guessing. You can use this data to pinpoint your biggest money leaks. Maybe it's dining out, maybe it's late-night online shopping. Whatever it is, you'll see it clear as day. You'll easily spot and axe those forgotten subscriptions. And best of all, you can set realistic savings goals because you know exactly where you can afford to cut back. Ultimately, putting in this effort completely transforms how you relate to money. Yeah, it takes a little bit of elbow grease to set up for sure, but once it becomes a habit, tracking your spending lets you make highly intentional decisions that actually align with your true financial goals. It is absolutely the foundational step toward achieving true financial freedom.
So you've now got the exact blueprint to completely shatter the spending illusion. But, tools and systems are kind of useless without action. So I'll leave you with this. What hidden money leaks are draining your future right now, and what tracking method are you going to use starting today to finally expose them? Thanks so much for hanging out with us for this explainer.